Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Ryan Radke from Messiah Lutheran Church in Mechanicsville, Virginia, and the midweek message this week will be on location. More on that in a second. We've been going through a course on prayer, more of a buffet of prayer, different types of prayer and spiritual practices, because each of us is different. Each of us is unique, made by God, each in our own way. And therefore, it makes sense that there's more than one way to pray and more than one way to connect with God and foster your relationship with God. So this series on prayer called Let's Pray Like This has been inspired by a book that I discovered or was assigned to us in seminary called Soul Types. And it is based on the Myers-Briggs Personality Inventory. And it walks you through lots of different types of spiritual practices based on different personality types. Today's type of prayer is excursion. Maybe you're familiar with the practice of pilgrimages or heard stories about folks that go to the Holy Land or other places. I myself was fortunate enough, along with my wife and some other folks in our class, one year in seminary to go to Turkey. We visited Ephesus, stood and walked in places the Apostle Paul stood and walked. Saw some underground and cave churches from the Byzantine era. Visited some places where Christian martyrs operated and where the church was originally spreading in the early years. That's a big trip. That's a big excursion. This one, we're hoping, will be a little bit smaller, but maybe in a way that will get you out of your house in the middle of this pandemic in a safe way. Let's walk you through it, and then I'll tell you about where we are today. What is it? What is this like, this excursion prayer? It's like going someplace special to pray. It's like getting out of your usual routines so that you pray and listen in a fresh way. It's like visiting someplace holy and being inspired by it, or like visiting someplace that doesn't seem holy and looking for God's presence there to inspire you. It's like a pilgrimage. It's a prayer outing. It's an adventure. What is this for? Well, it's for a new perspective. It's for a break from your routine. It's for inspiration. It's for occasionally making a special effort in your prayer life. It's for being open and yet another way to God and for God. It's for the journey itself, but more importantly, it's for how that journey and the destination, your excursion overall, affects you after you come back. When could you use it? You could use it when you have a block of time that you could put aside for it. The bigger or farther away your excursion, the more time you're going to need. Days even. So plan ahead. If you go to the trouble of going on a prayer excursion, you don't want it to feel rushed. You want it to be intentional. Where could you use it? Well, you could use it in a particularly beautiful place, like something in nature or an impressive building. You could visit a place where something historical happened, where a famous saint was, where some art is on display. Lots of opportunities for that in our area. We're blessed with historical sites, museums, natural beauty, you name it. Or you could visit a place like the grocery store or a farmer's market, but go for the, sorry for the shaky camera, go for the people watching. I'm dropping my notes. I caught him. You didn't see it, but it was cool. Go for the people watching. Go for something different than the norm. Not what you would usually go to that place for if it's something like a grocery store. You could incorporate a prayer excursion while you're doing something else, a vacation, a mission trip, a service project. Use it someplace different than the usual, or a usual place in a different way. When could you use it? Well, you could use it when you have a block of time set aside for it. The bigger or farther away, I think I already read this one. Sorry. I'm not used to being on location, am I? How it works. You go on some kind of trip, whether it's across your yard, across town, or across an ocean. You go someplace with the specific purpose in mind of being inspired or in looking or listening for God in a new way. Once that you're there, you can pray in any of the ways we've already tried or any other way, but almost like the prayer walk that we did once. See what inspires you. Look for God. See what God is stirring up in you. And once you're there, you pray. And like I said, the tough part's holding on to that experience once you return to your normal life and routine. So that's why you're intentional. That's why you set the time aside. You want to hang on to that memory and what God has stirred up into you while you're on your excursion. Once you get home, once you get back to your routine and the normal stuff. How you remain affected, or how can you remain affected and transformed? We've been stuck at home a lot. This has been a weird year, so this might be a good one to try. So try it. Pick a time and place, go there, pick a way to pray, and then come home and talk about it. So where am I? Close up. Here we go. This is gonna work better. Let's see if I can. No, I can't, so we'll be doing a lot of over-the-shoulder stuff. I went just over the county line into Henrico County, just down the road from Messiah, to Three Lakes Nature Center and Aquarium. Now, the aquarium is closed right now. The county building is closed because of the pandemic, but we can be outside. Now, I will let you know that when I got here, I've never been here before. It's my first time. As I started walking around the building on this boardwalk, seeing the trails, I just started to smile for a lot of reasons. First, it's just beautiful. We'll do a little walking tour this way. Hopefully you don't get motion sick. But this is a beautiful place. I hear the wind blowing through the trees a little earlier, and it took me back to my house growing up. We had some poplars in the backyard, and whenever the wind blew, it would make those leaves rustle. And it just brought back a good memory there. I give thanks for just the beauty of this place. Not a lot of wild places in our world anymore. This is still a curated one, but it's still out here in nature, out in the wild. We got some kind of duck family bird out in the water. Let's see if we can. Oh, it went under. Well, there you go. We'll come back to that. Over on this side, there's a little kind of marsh area with the aquarium in the background. Maybe you've been here before. That made me think of the Horicon Marsh, which is a giant state preserve where I grew up, just a little ways away. Lots of migratory birds, lots of wildlife, trails and boardwalks you can go through. Really a cool place. I'll turn back this way again. Good memories of that. Good memories of going there with school, with my family, with my mother. Developing that sense of appreciation for creation. Just, this place makes me smile. My wife is a scientist by training and a pastor by vocation, but she went to college for biology, chemistry, grad school for zoology and environmental aquatic toxicology. I feel like this would be up her alley. Just that love of nature and wildlife that we're trying to share with our family as well. Chance to learn, chance to appreciate. Here we go. We'll come over here. If you can see this rock back here, maybe it's a little far away in the zoom, but there's a bird on it. There's a duck of some type, something in that aquatic family. I also think of Dubuque, Iowa, where I went to seminary. It's right on the Mississippi River, and they have a fantastic museum and aquarium there as well. Man, I tell you, like I said, I just smiled when I came here. I kind of forgot what this is like. Been staying indoors so much. There's one other thing it made me think of today. It happens to also be Inauguration Day. Our country's been through a lot recently. A lot of tension, violence, hatred, a lot of turmoil. But then I come to a place like this. This is a county park. This shows you what can happen when people work together to benefit their community and the people that live there, to take care of the earth and God's good creation. This place makes me have a little bit of hope for our country that that we can work together, that we can do things for our shared good, our common good. That it isn't just the party in power or It isn't just me first. Anyway, this is your free-form, spontaneous, what is it called? Not chain reaction. Stream of consciousness prayer from Pastor Ryan today. I will remember this day. I will remember sorry if I'm making you seasick. I'll remember the sun sparkling on the water back here, the wildlife, the aquarium, the memories it brought up, the hope it gives me. I pray for our nation on this inauguration day, that everything is peaceful, that we find ways to work together and put ourselves in each other's shoes instead of retreating behind our walls. I look forward to the day when the pandemic is past and this place is open. I can go inside, see the aquariums. And I'm mostly thankful as I look around, as I have these memories, as I have these hopes, and as I see this beautiful place. I'm thankful. I hope you can have an excursion like this, where God stirs something up in you because you did something a little different than what you were used to. Prayer always affects and transforms the person who prays. That's one of the reasons we're supposed to do it, why God wants us to pray, because it changes us. Sometimes we need to go outside our normal routines and comfort zones to be reminded of that. So I hope this was a little bit of a reminder for you today. It was for me. I'll be back here, and I'd love to hear your stories of your excursions. But thank you for tuning in, and try these different ways of prayer. Find what works for you, what fits you, or try something that is not your normal, just to stretch you. But either way, continue that conversation with God, and your faith will be deepened for it. Until next time, we got one more of these. See you then.